Welcome back to the Shivers Report, where you get the most up-to-date real estate information
in the world,
and more specifically in the Pacific Northwest. So whether it be the Iran conflict, whether it be foreclosures, we're seeing headlines all over the place. One of the biggest ones that I've been seeing on Instagram stories, people putting out there, is foreclosures are skyrocketing year over year. We're up 26% in foreclosure filings nationally year over year.
Yeah.
But when you really look at it,
you always ask the question, compared to what?
Compared to what?
Again, is it going up? And is that of course, no one ever wants to go into foreclosure. But go back to the last normal market, 2019, and what would those stats give you?
So we take a look at the graph. I don't know if we can put it up here. Is 2019 foreclosure filings were 493,066. This year we're at 357,062. Okay. So we're not even at 2019 levels. Just to put in perspective, 2009, 2010, 2,824,000. 2,871,000, almost 872,000. So there's some major differences when you actually take a look into the background.
Yeah, and that's why I always like on Instagram and Twitter, when people start saying crash, the first thing I ask is, what's your definition of a crash? Because they'll never say it.
Yeah.
They'll never say what that means because they know, I think, if you make that type of statement, it's people just click and stuff like that. So here is what we're seeing. FHA loans, little down, 22, 23, 24. That's where we're getting a lot of people in trouble.
Yeah.
They're probably close to new construction. Maybe they have a job relocation, and then they realize they're $50,000 below what. Because the builders, their job is to sell properties.
Yep.
A seller doesn't have to sell. But if you have a new construction in an area that has new construction, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And if you put 3.5% down, you're probably upside down.
There's been 2 appointments that I've had like that over the last couple months. Both Hillsborough, both Redwoods Crossing.
Yep. Redwoods Crossing, great area.
Told them both similar things. You got to be under 400.
Yeah.
They both didn't like what I had to say, even after showing them data.
Right.
Both are still sitting on the market right now.
Of course.
Just because I think that perception is hard to swallow.
Yeah.
But you can't compete when you can't offer your own incentives and interest rates and buy downs and all that stuff.
No. So I guess the question, what do you do as a home seller if you're in that position and you have to sell?
I mean, you got to figure out ways to make it make sense. Can you afford to rent it out and cover part of a payment?
Okay, great idea.
Can you eat that cost that you're going to have to pay if you sell the property?
Right.
What does that look like? Are you able to do that? I think it really comes down to, is this a necessity? Do we have to sell?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Because if you don't have to sell, even if your job moved 30 more minutes further out and you're driving an hour, at this point, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. So here's a question I think it was Pulte that they were talking about that they wanted to lower the credit score and maybe get some 100% financing back into the market. You think that's a good idea as a young person?
I don't. I mean, it just puts people in a bad situation, in my opinion. I mean, if they don't have a great credit score, if they're 100% financing these properties, the properties that are underwater right now weren't 100% financing.
No.
So what happens when the next 2-3 years there is a big change for somebody, especially younger, who doesn't necessarily always know what that next step's going to look like? It might sound like a great idea.
Yeah.
But once the time comes where you have to sell, we talked about it in one of our team meetings a week or 2 ago. If you're buying new construction or in a new construction area, you should better be prepared to live there 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I honestly think it's a horrible idea. And it's exactly why we got into the situation we did in 2009. And some people might not like this, but not everybody should own a home. That's just the truth. Yeah. Not everybody should own a home.
Do you think, I mean, I've heard on some podcasts where they talk about, I wouldn't buy anything other than new construction right now because of the incentives that they're offering.
Right.
Do you disagree with that?
Depending. Like if I'm in an area that has a ton of new construction, yeah, I am buying new construction all day long. There was a recent article in Realtor.com that said, while new construction is more expensive up front, it'll save you $25,000 over the next decade in utilities and upkeep. The reality, in my opinion, is if you're in the Sun Belt specifically, the cost up front isn't more. Sometimes it can be the same or less.
Yeah.
And then when you factor on rate buy downs, incentives, upgrades, that is by far the best opportunity if there's a ton of new construction.
Yeah, of course.
Pacific Northwest is a little different because there's just not a lot of it. There are some areas, pockets.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, you're not getting a massive amount of new construction in some old, cool neighborhood or something like that. But
that's true. That's true. I think it just comes down to, for somebody looking to build equity, I mean, real estate is an investment.
Yeah.
And for some people, especially with the year where you live in it as a primary for 2 years, you can decide if you want to rent it after, if you want to sell it, whatever that looks like, you get that capital gains exemption.
Yeah.
Is buying new construction.
So here's the question for you as a young, historically, real estate has been an incredible investment. Number one, it's a place to live.
Yep.
Number two, Americans aren't great at saving. So it's forced savings, right? Do you still think it is a great investment?
I think it depends on the way you look at it. Because for me, I'm looking at right now, what could I do if I'm looking for a property? I want something where I can put sweat equity in it to be able to up the price in that way. I'm not solely relying on the market to shift and go up, and that's how I build my equity.
Right.
I think right now, for me personally, when I'm thinking about that or looking at potential deals that way, it's something where I can come in and I can make the adjustments myself or me and my fiance and add value that way.
Okay, so you're forcing the equity.
Yes.
You're not banking on values going up because in the Pacific Northwest, values aren't going up.
Yeah, because if it wasn't for that, I mean, there are things that go into real estate. I mean, you got if an HVAC system breaks, if your roof leaks, there's all those different costs that go into owning real estate. If it's not going to be necessarily with what we're looking at right now, going to be appreciating, why not just throw it in the stock market while the stock market's going up?
Right.
What in the last 2 months? 19%?
Yeah. I've seen in like tech stocks, it's went up like 27% in 2 months.
Think about that. 27% in 2 months. It almost feels like stocks right now kind of feel like crypto.
Yeah.
In a sense. Yeah. Because of AI.
Yeah.
Where it's just super volatile.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's getting propped up with the idea of what it could be and not the money that those companies are necessarily bringing in revenue right now.
Oh, that's 100%. So that's why I stick. I look, I'm a real estate guy and I am looking and I'm like, wow, that is a boat that is sailed that I've missed. I do have real stock and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near my real estate holdings. And sometimes I go, man, but you stay in your wheelhouse.
And it goes in waves too.
Absolutely.
I mean, people probably said the same thing during 2020 when real estate.
Yep.
So that's what we're looking at. Thanks for tuning into the Shivers Report. If you have any questions about real estate in the Pacific Northwest,
we have you covered.